Yo, what is good YouTube? What's up PlayStation Nation? Jay Bari here, and I'm back with another video, here to give my Sea of Stars review and to talk about why this game is one of the best games to come out this year. Sea of Stars is a wonderful RPG that pays homage to traditional JRPG games that we grew up and loved to play back in the day. And every bit of this game I truly loved when it comes to Sea of Stars. There are some few gripes that I do have in the game, but they're few, like I said. But overall, this is probably one of the best games that I played this year when it comes to the RPG genre. You know, there's other games that I do like more, but I think Sea of Stars is an excellent game for anyone that loves to get into these traditional, JRPGs or traditional old school type, nostalgic RPG games. So doing something new, like I said, when it comes to my reviews, I'm going to be giving the review score, then talk about the pros and the cons of the game. So my review score of this game is going to be a 9 out of 10. Yes, a 9 out of 10. Straight up clean 9 out of 10 because I really enjoyed the game. So let's talk about the pros and then we'll get into the cons. Let's go. One of the things I truly appreciated and learned to love about Sea of Stars is the look of the game. The graphics are amazing. It is one of those traditional pixelated RPG games, but overall this is probably one of the best looking ones. I put also Octopath Traveler 2 up there as far as the best looking, pixelated traditional games. Sea of Stars, in my opinion, got a slight edge over Octopath due to the fact that the animations are beautiful. They beautifully crafted a lot of animations in this game. Whether it's the climbing, whether it's the idle animation, whether you're walking a tightrope, the battle animations as far as the attacks, everything looks so well and well crafted. Like you can see every strike that they're throwing, every magic attack that they're doing, everything that these characters are doing, you get to witness that throughout the animations of the game. The towns, the world is just beautifully crafted. It's just a beautiful looking game, and I really appreciated what they've done here for Sea of Stars. And speaking of animations, one of the greatest things about the game is now that you have these beautiful animations that you can see with all these characters, it just makes the combat so much better as you defeat some of these enemies that you encounter in the game. Sea of Stars combat is amazing. I love it a lot. And I like it a lot because it keeps you very engaged and very active as you wait your turn to do certain actions. I always, when I played RPGs back in the day, I always pressed like a button, the A button, the X button, whatever button it is, as I'm attacking enemies or whatnot, just because I think that you're going to get more damage out of just hitting it. Even if the game doesn't have it, I still do it when it came to these traditional turn-based games. But in Sea of Stars, you actually get rewarded for doing those things, and I enjoy that. If you get your timing right with some of these animations with these attacks, you will get rewarded for the attacks that you do with more damage or increase in strike hits and stuff like that. It also works that way on the defensive standpoint of the game, and I love that a lot. I love that because you can mitigate some damage when it comes to enemies attacking you with some of these high hitting attacks. And I love the fact that how the combat just keep you engaged. I'm not just relaxing, chilling, waiting for the enemy attack while, just let me look at a tweet or something. No, I got to stay engaged. I got to look at the screen. I got to see what's going on. And boom, there you go. There you have it. I'm getting rewarded for properly hitting the prompts at a certain time within the game. I love it. I love it. Another thing that I really loved about Sea of Stars as well is the music. Yes, music is a very important part to me when it comes to RPGs, and one of the main reasons why I love a lot of these RPGs. The music keeps you engaged. It keeps you acclimated with the game as you see you know, the emotions that's going on, or you get to feel the emotions. You get to know if it's a tense moment, if it's a joking moment. And the music didn't fail at all when it came to this game. This is one of my favorite sections that I'm about to play right here. When it comes to the music and just the animations overall, as the world just comes alive with the music being played. And go and check it out for yourself. Give it a listen. Oh baby, that music is so good, man. I love, yo, I stayed in that area like I legit a long time, just listening and looking at all of the little trees, the singing as the music is going along. Beautiful area in the game, man. Beautiful area in the game. Another thing that I really liked about Sea of Stars is the actual like puzzles. These puzzles were kind of, you know, it had you thinking. There's one puzzle I honestly had to look up. This is like during the late end of the game, and I felt bad looking it up, but I was stuck on there for like a good hour, 2 hours trying to figure this thing out. But overall, majority of the puzzles can be figured out. It's not hard, by say that probably that one puzzle was hard for me. I just couldn't get it. But the challenge was good enough to keep you like, oh, I figured this out. You know, majority some of these games that come out nowadays, the puzzles is just like, meh. You know, they tell you everything, they show you everything. It's just like, it is what it is. But in this game, you figure these things out, and it's just chef kiss when you figure it out. Like, oh, I learned that. And it also plays. There's puzzle elements, in my opinion, when it comes to the combat as well. I know we're talking about puzzles, environments, and figuring things out, traversing the world. But I feel like the combat itself could be a puzzle. Figuring out the proper combinations to stagger or weaken or stopping some of these enemies' charged attacks is one of the greatest things I loved about this game. It's just figuring these things out. Like, there might be, you know, a mixture of a whole bunch of elements that an enemy, you got to hit them with to stop their charge attack. And there's moments where I had to stop them like, so how am I going to do this here? Maybe if I cheat this here, maybe if I use this attack here, I gotta get some magic orb so I can get this attack out. You have to figure these things out, man, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the game. Overall, the game difficulty wasn't too hard, to be honest with you, but it did give enough challenge when it came to some of the enemies and the bosses that I thoroughly enjoyed, where I had to let me figure this stuff out. This approach didn't work at this moment in time. Let me try a different approach. Let me mix it up, put some other teammates in. It constantly gives you the opportunity to switch up characters, you know, swap out these characters and see what attacks work within the game. And I really enjoyed that aspect of the combat. I felt like the bosses were really fun. Not every boss is the same boss over and over again. A lot of them brought different aspects and elements to the combat, which it gave you a new feel of how to approach these bosses as they're attacking. There might be some bosses that might have counter stances or counter attacks where you can only use magic in this portion, or magic might only work here when you know, get your magic orbs, or using like a skill attack that will only defeat the enemy here, or, you know, physical attacks might only work here. And it constantly switches up and constantly have the player thinking like, oh, I can't do this here, let me try to take out this element or this part of this boss first, which is all the things that I loved when it comes to the combat and boss fights in classic JRPGs or RPG games back in the day. This game did a wonderful job giving you that feeling like you are playing, or you're back in the PS1, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis type days of playing these type of games, man. And I thoroughly enjoyed that a lot. You know, the bosses had unique animations. There's one boss that I felt like is probably the best boss fight in this game, where you fought like a Medusa head type monster, and figuring that boss out was amazing. That's like, oh man, I had to change up some things here and how I approach the enemy bosses, or that specific boss, because it was constantly switching up. Do I want to take out this piece because I don't want that monster to heal, or I want to go in for the damage so I can get rid of this enemy that's killing me quickly, much faster. I love those constant thought patterns that this game is giving you when it came to the combat, the boss fights, overall everything in Sea of Stars. I loved it. It's just a perfect way of, paying homage to classic RPGs, JRPG games, and they nailed it here with Sea of Stars. Let's talk about one of the most important elements, in my opinion, when it comes to an RPG game: the story. The story in Sea of Stars was amazing. I really enjoyed the climactic twist that happens within the story. The characters are very engaging. I love the character growth between the two characters, Zale and Valeri. It's just amazing characters. Garl, one of the best characters in an RPG in a while. This game overall had such great character development, such great plot twists. Enemies, what's going on? Amazing character development and writing with the enemies. I just love the story. I don't want to spoil it so much when it comes to this game, but there's some great character twists and plot twists that happens within the game, where you figure out the backstory of what's going on. These two gods playing around, or really, friends and whatnot, was in the story. And yeah, I enjoyed that element a lot when it comes to this game. Both characters, being these solstice warriors, really fun. Just seeing their character growth, seeing the trials and tribulations that they had to go through and endure to become who they are. And then there's moments in the story where you just like, you celebrate and you cheer for these characters because they're growing and they're getting much stronger. And it's just like, yes, I finally got this. I finally unlocked this ability, or I finally can do this. Now they're becoming who they are destined to be. And then other characters that had those same destinies, denying those destinies. Heck, there's somebody that even quit on being who that person's supposed to be. And I was just like, wow, this story is really engaging. I'm really liking this, man. Story-wise, Sea of Stars, it won't fail. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to enjoy it like I enjoyed it myself, because it's one of the best elements of the game. So let's get into some cons now when it comes to Sea of Stars, because as much as I really enjoy the game, it's not a perfect game. There are some cons that I do have with the game. It's very slight, it's very minor, but I do think that, this developer, if they was going to create a new RPG game or a continuation of a game like this, they can learn some things as far as like meeting that quota of those traditional games. One thing I enjoyed of other like traditional RPG games that's coming out, like a Chain Echoes, or mainly Chain Echoes, the fact that when you're traversing around the world, when you're exploring, you can pan the camera left, right, wherever you want, just to see a little bit further view as far as what you're getting into. There's an enemy over there, or there's a treasure over here, there's a treasure hiding. I really enjoyed that when it came to Chain Echoes, and I felt like Sea of Stars could have implemented the same thing as well, due to the fact that you have so much traversal options, climbing, swimming, all that stuff. It could have just helped the game a little bit better as far as like figuring things out, as far where things are within this world. And yeah, it's a small minor detail, but I think it would have uplifted the game a little bit more. Also, having no actual map within towns, I felt like was a big misstep on their end. In my opinion, there's a map and all that stuff when you in the open world setting, but in the towns, some of these towns are pretty big, like Brisk, very big town, where I felt like just having maps there would have complemented the game much better. One of my biggest gripes for the game, one of my biggest cons for the game, is you have all these layers of detail within combat and how enemies attack and their charge attacks and, you know, different elemental attacks and all that stuff. But there was no bestiary in this game. There's no bestiary in the menu where you can be like, okay, this enemy is weak to this enemy does this attack, here's how you can stop, or here's how you can help better your chances against this enemy. I felt like this game could have, if this game had a bestiary, this could have been a 10 out of 10, to be honest with you, because there's so many enemies that you do fight in the game throughout your time playing the game. But it would have been a great option to just sit down and read what these enemies attacks does, you know, if there's any delays or anything going on after you, obviously after you fight the enemy, because you do fight them over and over and over again. But I do feel like a bestiary would have complemented this game so much more than just not having it there with all the elements that you did add here into the game. That's one thing I do love is like reading enemies attacks, what enemies are about, and I felt like a game like this could have used it, in my personal opinion. Yeah, so no bestiary in the game. It was a huge miss for me. But really and truly, those are my cons when it came to this game. You know, majority of the game I did love. You know, I did love a lot about this game. Like I said, the story, the graphics, the combat. Let's look at the scenery in this boss fight right here. Amazing scenery right here. You know, some of the scenery in this game where you traverse is just beautiful in this pixelated, you know, look. And it's just like, wow, you guys nailed the aspect, the looks and the aspect that you're trying to go for. I see your vision here in the game. You know, the enemy, the attacks that you learn, the skill attacks, the combo attacks are really fun. Like I said, it keeps you engaged and it keeps you thinking as far as what you want to do when it comes to fighting these enemies. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Sea of Stars. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I am giving this game a 9 out of 10, and I highly recommend you play Sea of Stars. If not, this will probably be one of your best RPG games that you play this year. It's been a wonderful year for RPGs, and Sea of Stars did not fail when it comes to 2023 as one of the best years in gaming, because they definitely nailed a lot of the great aspects of the traditional RPGs that I love personally, and I would love to see more games take on what Sea of Stars have done. So a 9 out of 10 for me when it comes to Sea of Stars. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And go and support Sea of Stars. Great developer, great game. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. It's your boy Jay Barry. I'm gone. Deuces.